A very good afternoon to everyone. I am really thankful to the principal sir as well as Dr. Tanveer sir for inviting me here for the orientation program presentation. So this is the beautiful picture of Vaishali, the world's first republic, just a general information. And I give my great tribute to my state as well, where three major religions have deep roots, and there have been a lot of great personalities who have born over here, like Chanakya, the Chandragupta Maurya, the Aryabhata, many. So today I will be speaking on the role of preclinical study for the novel drug development against the increased human disease. So how these human diseases are coming over right now is a major challenge to know. So let me just give you a glimpse of the information that how this disease is coming over in the entire Bihar through many of the environmental pollutants in the present times. So if we talk about the environmental pollutants, they are the chemicals that have ended up in the environment as a result of human activities and that are hazardous to health. And as far as the environmental pollutants are concerned, there are plethora of the pollutants like gases, agropesticides, industrial waste, metal waste, acids, radioactive waste, and presently the e-waste from the IT sector is also coming up. If we talk about the heavy metal toxicology, this is the periodic table where you can see these red mark metals, elements, which are presently also having a lot of health issues in the exposed population. If we talk about the metals, originally included only gold, silver, copper, or iron or lead. They are the conductors of heat and electricity, and the metalloids are elements with features intermediate between metals and non-metals, like arsenic. And a heavy metal is a metal having an atomic weight greater than sodium, a density greater than 5 gram per centimeter cube, and usually includes the lead, cadmium, and mercury. So let's talk a little bit about more about these toxic metals like mercury, cadmium, chromium, lead, zinc, iron, and arsenic. It has been often observed that these heavy metals are group of metals and metalloids that are relatively high density are toxic even at ppb levels. Examples like lead, arsenic, mercury, cadmium, zinc, your silver, copper, ferrous, chromium, nickel, palladium, and platinum. These metals are released into the environment by both natural and anthropogenic sources such as industrial discharge, automobiles exhaust, and mining. Unlike organic pollutants, heavy metals are non-biodegradable and have tendency to accumulate in living beings. In fact, most of them are known to be potential carcinogens. So this is the world map which shows how these metals are causing a lot of distribution and how they are affecting the human health. So the sources are basically, we can see over here, these are the sources of heavy metal pollution. And the target organ toxicity of these metals through the zinc, or the arsenic, mercury, lead, and cadmium, you can see over here. And they also cause a lot of oxidative stress leading to the cellular death, and that is basically the major cause of the problem of the disease. If we talk about the mercury, so this is a common metal which is liquid at ordinary temperature, and it rarely occurs free in nature and is found mainly in Cinnabar ore in Spain, Italy, and many parts in the India as well, where these are being used for the many of the you can say the medical purposes. And these are the health effects of mercury. We can see disruption of the nervous system, damage to brain functions, DNA damage, and chromosomal damage, and allergic reactions, negative reproductive effects. So this has got a lot of effect on the environment as well. Cadmium, if we talk about, they are being taken place mainly through the food, and the foodstuffs that are rich in cadmium can greatly increase the cadmium concentration in human bodies like liver and the other animals as well. They cause diarrhea, stomach pain, and severe vomiting, bone fracture, reproductive failure, damage in the central nervous system, damage to the immune system, psychological disorders, and possibly DNA damage or cancer development. If we talk about the chromium, it also has a lot of health issues like the is a danger to human health, mainly for people who work in the steel and textile industry. And this is causing a lot of the diseases, including the breathing problems, upset stomach and ulcers, respiratory problems, weakened immune system, kidney and liver damage, alteration of genetic material, lung cancer, and even the death. If we talk about the lead, which is very commonly present in many of the foodstuffs, vegetables, meats, and these are all coming through, a lot of the adulteration which is coming over in the present time. Because recently in one of our Indo-US project, we conducted a study on the children of about all the 8 districts of Bihar where we had found high lead concentration in their blood just because they were using the local packaged food products which I mean the turmeric had adulteration in that. So this is also causing a lot of problems related to biosynthesis of hemoglobin and anemia, rise in blood pressure, kidney damage, miscarriages, disruption of nervous system, brain damage, decline fertility of men, diminished learning abilities of children, and behavioral disruptions. So these are the normal ranges of blood, especially with the lead, where it has caused a lot of problems. If we talk about the iron also, it is also causing a lot of the toxicity, causing GI toxicity. Relative stability period begins approximately 6 to 12 hours after ingestion, severe poison patient, shock and acidosis. These are all the common symptoms which are being present in the patients who are exposed to lead. Now with the zinc is also extensively used as a protective coating or galvanizer for iron and steel. It is also still causing a lot of health issues like it enters the cells via channels that are shared by ferrous and calcium, and this pathway may be a prerequisite for cell injury, and they also cause a lot of health issues. So now, as earlier my speaker, Dr. Ali, has already spoken a lot about the cancer. I will just give you just a glimpse of how this cancer and its types are. If we talk about the cancer, it is neoplastic cells, that is, neo means neoplasm, means growth, and cells which undergo rapid abnormal and uncontrolled growth at the cost of remaining cells are called as neoplastic growth of tumors. The tumors are basically of 2 types. These are the benign or the malignant. So benigns are basically the abnormal persistent cell division that remains localized at the spot of the origin, while the malignant tumor cells may be carried out by the bloodstream or the lymphatic system or by direct penetration to other parts of the body where they are induced secondary tumors. They are called metastatic. Usually the types of cancer, if we talk about, there are basically 200 distinct types of cancer, and they belong to major 4 categories. That is the carcinomas, sarcomas, lymphomas, and leukemias. Now let me talk about these environmental pollutants, how this has caused a lot of cancer disease. And you can see over here that these environmental carcinogens are causing different types of cancer like gastric cancer, bladder cancer, leukemia, childhood leukemia, and lung cancer, your sarcoma, and testicular cancer, and bladder cancer as well. And although the obesity also has the various types of disease pattern, you can see like the myeloma, esophageal cancer, colon, gastric, gallbladder. Apart from that, it has been seen that even the alcohol and the smoking also leads to cancer. If we talk about the diseases coming with the cancer, only 5 to 10% are present with the gene mutations. Rather, the environmental factors are more prevalent to have causing the disease pattern in the population. So these are some of the genetic cancer cases which are very much common in the population, like prostate, colorectal, breast, ovarian, nasopharyngeal, malignant melanoma. These are all different types of cancer which are the genetic cancer. And there are some more like diet-related cancers, like larynx, bladder, lung cancer, colorectal, pancreatic, prostate, gallbladder, other cancers. So if we talk about the cancer burden, total number of cases, if we talk about, it is 50.55 million in the last 5 years worldwide. And new cancer cases added is about 19.29 million. If we talk about India, total number of cancer cases is 2.25 million, and new cancer cases added every year is 1.5 million, and number of deaths every year is 0.7 million. If we talk about Bihar, the population of about 12.83 crore, 0.31 million patients anytime are found in the state of Bihar, out of which 75,000 to 80,000 new cancer cases are added every year, and 60,000 patients die every year just because of this disease. As far as the hospital-based data of our Mahavir Cancer Sanathan, if we talk that in male, earlier in 1999, we found that it was 49% were male and 51% were female. Presently, 42% are male and 58% are the female patients. And this is the global phenomena that the females are more prone to have cancer than the male. For an example, just an instance, breast cancer scenario if we say. So breast cancer is a common diagnosed cancer among women, 159 out of 185 countries, and it accounts for about 11.7% of all new cancer cases diagnosed among women in 2020, and all the cancer-related deaths among in 2020 worldwide. According to Globocon 2020, breast cancer is responsible for increased mortality among women in India with an estimated 13,24,413 of all new cancer cases. And India was ranked among third amongst the country with highest number of breast cancer cases in 2018. Women in older age groups are at increased risk to breast cancer. So these are all the total cases which have been reported in the recent times that the women at the age of 40 to 50 years have the major issues related to the cancer. If we talk about this breast cancer map of Bihar, you can see that these are the red colored districts where the disease prevalence is very much. And it is still a mystery that how this disease burden is coming up in the state of Bihar. So these are basically one of the hypotheses which says that the arsenic is also related with the disease of your breast cancer. I'm coming up with all these findings that how this arsenic is playing a major role in the cause of the disease. So as far as one of the water is an important component of our human life in this planet, it has been found that 97% of the water which is present in this planet is 97%, 2% is the frozen ice, and only 1% is, you can say, the drinkable water. And arsenic, if we talk about, it is ubiquitous in the environment, and it ranks 20th in abundance in Earth's crust, and 14th in seawater, and 12th in human body. So that is why it is called as king of poison and poison of kings. As in the history, we have seen that the Napoleon Bonaparte and the King George III of Great Britain were poisoned by intoxicated with arsenic. If we talk about the drinking water scenario, globally an estimated 1.8 billion people are drinking contaminated water. Around 46 million people in India, the size of this population of Spain, are exposed every day to contaminated water, which could lead to serious health issues. As far as the arsenic drinking water scenario is concerned, an estimated 300 million people are exposed to arsenic worldwide. And in India, an estimated 70 million people are exposed to arsenic through drinking water, and about 10 million people in Bihar are exposed to arsenic contamination. You can just imagine 1 crore of population is still affected with arsenic poisoning, and this is the disease burden where the population is having. So if you talk about the global threat, you can see these red spot areas where the problem is very much high with the groundwater arsenic poisoning, and these are the Asia threat areas where the red spot shows the arsenic poisoning. And this is the Great Himalayas, which covers two major river channels like the Ganges and the Brahmaputra. This is called as Ganga Meghna Brahmaputra plains, where the you can say the maximum disease is coming right now in the present times. So billion-dollar question is that what is the reason for arsenic contamination in the groundwater in the Gangetic belt? We talk about the Great Himalayas. This is your arsenopyrite, which is one of the ore which is present in this Great Himalayas. Now the question arises that how this arsenopyrite reached the Great Himalayas. When there was no pollution of the Gondwana land with the Eurasia, there used to be one Tethys Sea over there, and this Tethys Sea used to be called as the hotbed of arsenopyrite. And when Gondwana collided with the Eurasia, there was formation of Great Himalayas. And there was, you can say, the intermingling of the arsenopyrite with the minerals of the uh, Great Himalayas. And now the river channels are flowing after the ice caps. And these river channels are carrying over this arsenopyrite to their plains. And these plains basically, after, through many years, they are sedimented in the soil. But recently, when we shifted to the groundwater in 1980s, when millions of tube wells were installed all over in the country because of this safe water, and the problem arises over there because the groundwater table went down and there was some geogenic as well as some anthropogenic activity, which is called as the oxidation and the reduction reaction in the sediments, where these three elements which we are talking about, they got separated. Now this elemental form where are present in this entire groundwater, like sulfur we can see when clothes are being washed in this arsenic exposed area, it becomes yellow. So this is the sulfur which can be observed. And you can see where the hand pump is there, hand pump bottom, it is reddish in color. So that is your basically the iron which is present over there. But the arsenic cannot be smelled, it cannot have any, it doesn't have any taste, or it cannot be visualized. So इसको कहते हैं रंगहीन, गंधहीन और स्वादहीन. So basically, this is how this slow poison is coming into our body, and it is causing a lot of health issues in the exposed population. If we talk about this Great Himalayas watershed area, you see entire India is affected with the arsenic poisoning, where the river channels are present. In the Nepal also, this is present. In Pakistan, in China, and in Cambodia, Myanmar, Thailand, these are all the countries where these Himalayas great channels are coming over there, they are having issues. And in Bihar, in India, we have this river Ganga, and these are the major channels, and these are the tributaries like Bhadra, Ganga, Buri Ganga, Bagmati, Kamla, Kosi, Kantai, and Mahananda. So these are all the river channels which are breaking arsenopyrite, and these are being sedimented in this plain area. And these are the areas where the disease burden in the present times has increased manifold because of the drinking of this arsenic contaminated water by the exposed population. Now you can see this arsenic map of Bihar, which we have plotted very recently in 2021, and it has been already published in one of the articles. And you can see these are the channel areas where the arsenic poisoning is very high. Recently, the Government of India has Jal Shakti Mission Mantralaya, that is the Government of India in December 22, recently showed this map that the entire 27 districts of Bihar is affected with the arsenic poisoning, and where the health-related issues have also increased manifold. So presently, I have three major projects which are running under my supervision. One is in the Japanese project, which we are looking over the disease pattern of gallbladder cancer in the entire area. And moreover, the two ICMR projects are also having the study related to how arsenic is playing a major role in the women, especially with the disease pattern. And the third project, which is to analyze, or you can say the assessment of the entire disease burden in the entire gangetic range. So we are having a lot of study related to this to just evaluate that how this arsenic is playing a major role in the causing the various types of disease burden. One of the study which also shows that 19% of Indians drink water with equal levels of arsenic, and this is the WHO standard which says that how much of the arsenic concentration is feasible. Like drinking water with 10 microgram per liter, above that it can have lot of health-related issues. So arsenic ingestion basically it is through the drinking water, irrigation water, and burning of cow dung cake in some of the places. Usually, if it is an acute arsenic toxicity, it causes very least impact on the humans, like vertigo, vomiting tendencies, pulmonary edema, organ toxicity, major organ failure, nausea, GI problem, indigestion, etc. But if it is chronic, means the people are consuming this water maybe of 10 years or 15 years of long-term exposure, that causes a lot of health-related issues in them, like musculoskeletal disorder, nervous system disorder, pulmonary disorder, cardiovascular disorder, skin manifestations, abnormal pregnancy, liver and kidney disorder, diabetes mellitus, cancer like skin, breast, lung, kidney, gallbladder, liver, bladder, and prostate, anemia, hormonal imbalance, male infertility. These are all, the symptoms which has arisen in the exposed population, and I have been evaluating all these, exposed population for last 12 to 14 years. Even one of the study of the Natural Resources Defense Council of USA, it says that even a person who is consuming a permissible limit of 10 ppb, it is 1 in 500 that one person who is consuming 2 liters of arsenic contaminated water, he has a risk of cancer 1 in 5 years. If it is 50 ppb, it is 1 in 100. Netherlands have already made their permissible limit to less than 1 ppb. Just imagine how we are. I have personally observed that the people in Buxar, they were consuming 1928 ppb in one of these summer in 2013. So that was the highest, and you can just imagine if the person is consuming that much of arsenic contaminated water, how much health risk it is. Even one of the studies shows that even the pregnant mother, if she consumes even 5 ppb of arsenic contaminated water, she is going to deliver the baby with low intelligence, and we can say the health, mental related issues. In one of our ICMR projects, we have found that the mothers who are lactating, they are releasing around 400 pp contaminated milk, breast milk. But the WHO recommended levels are less than 0.6 ppb. So you can just imagine how the health risk of not only of the women but also of the child is there in the exposed population. So these are some of the mechanisms I would like to share, that how this is converted into arsenate to arsenite to methyl arsenic acid to methyl arsenose, and finally to dimethyl arsenic acid, which is also a category 1 carcinogen according to WHO. So basically, it has the affinity to bind with sulfhydryl groups, and this causes your epidermal keratinocytes damaging and causes melanosis, spotted melanosis, leukomelanosis, keratosis of sole and palm. So how it looks, it is just like you can see over the fitting log. So this is, you can see in the hand as well as palm as well as in the sole. So this is hardening of the, you can say, the skin, which is a clearly visible symptom of this arsenic exposed population. Although arsenic also affects all 5 steroid hormones like estrogen receptor, progesterone receptor, testosterone receptor, glucocorticoid receptor, and nucleocorticoid receptors. And the other nuclear hormone receptors like retinoic acid receptor, thyroid hormone receptor, and PPI receptor that is responsible for the diabetes. So these are all completely effective just because of this arsenic poisoning. And one of the studies says that arsenic is not directly related with the damaging of the genes, but it is the reactive oxygen species which is responsible for damaging of the various transcription activities like EGF, SRC, RAS, MAPK. These are all the genes which are being mutated just because of this RAS, and this is causing the real cause of the disease. So these are some of the symptoms I would like to visualize, because the patients from these areas might be visiting the clinics, and they might be having these types of symptoms. Then you can recognize that this is typical arsenicosis symptom, and this is by poison by the arsenic. And this is in the sole. You can see the hardening of the skin over there. And this is hyperkeratosis, which is because you can see this is completely 15 to 20 years of exposure of arsenic. This is melano, that is the blackening and hardening of the skin. This is called as melanokeratosis. And this is the leiomyomatosis. You can see the white spots over the entire palm as well as in the limbs. So these are some of the raindrop pigmentation, which is also a common phenomenon which is present in the exposed population. And this is important. These lines you can see, these are very much found, very less found in the patients who are exposed with at least 20 years of arsenic person. If we talk about the cancer cases in our cancer hospital, we have already reported in journal in 2021 that how this population are exposed with the different types of cancer cases as well. One of the patient was in 2018, Vimla Devi with one of the disease, and she was operated and her hand was amputated. Similarly, with this skin disease, skin cancer. In recent one of the study which we carried out in 2021, where 2,000 cancer patients were studied, and this was published in the Nature journal. And scientific reports, arsenic exposure in endoganglionic planes of arsenic causing increased cancer. So these were the 2,000 cases, in which 1,213 were the female patients and 787 were the male patients. And major chunk of the patients were in the age between 31 to 70. And the arsenic concentration in the blood samples, you can see the WHO limits are less than 5 ppb, and here the levels were very much high, even up to more than 1500 ppb in the female as well as in the male patients. And these are the different types of cancer which we categorize. You can see the leukemia cases, the lymphoma, sarcoma, and maximum was 1687 with the carcinoma. Out of which the major of the cases were from the cervical, gallbladder, liver cancers, head and neck cancer, and GI cancer cases. And you can see the arsenic concentration around it. So this has already been published in the Nature journal. And these were the spatial distribution of 2,000 cancer patients with their average blood arsenic concentration. District-wise, you can see over the Buxar, Bhojpur, Vaishali, the entire Ganges plain area where the disease burden was very much high. If you talk about the carcinoma, you can see again it is the pattern which is showing over in the entire Gangetic plains. If we talk about the lymphoma, we can see the segregation pattern all over the state with Buxar, Nalanda, Purnia. And for the sarcoma, there was one question from the scientific reports, that is from the Nature journal book, that why Madhubani is having a lot of arsenic contamination in the blood. Then I had to give an answer to them. I answered that most of the households in the Madhubani, they are using they have the occupation as the Madhubani painting is one of the occupation, and these paints contain a lot of arsenic in them. It is quite possible that these paints might have been stick into their body and they could have remained for maybe for many time, and that could have absorbed a lot of arsenic in their body, and that could be one of the reasons that they had a lot of arsenic concentration. Similarly, for leukemia, you can see the different pattern. And if we talk about the organ-wise, recently we had another paper publication in 2023 January in the Nature, that is scientific reports, arsenic causing gallbladder cancer disease in Bihar. And just a glimpse of this 10 years of research, epidemiological research, which shows that this block where the disease burden is very, very high, especially the gallbladder cancer. Now it is a matter of study that why this disease pattern is very much high in this specific block area of the state. So we are still having this study in our Indo-Japanese project, and we are trying to analyze that what could be the basic reason behind this. And moreover, when we studied studied these 512 cancer patients, you can see their arsenic concentration with the entire pattern here. So it is very much common in the northern districts of Bihar than the southern districts of the state. Similarly, for the breast cancer also, we have observed a different pattern. This has also been reported. And in the breast cancer patients also, we have found that how this state-wise, the concentration is increasing in that. And these were the breast cancer tissue, breast tissue, they are having the arsenic concentration more than 500 ppb in exposed population than the control group. So this is unpublished data which I am showing to you. So basically, the human arsenic exposure is through these uh, channel. You can see this schematic diagram which shows that how arsenic, which is an carcinogen category 1 green estrogen, how it affects the hormonal imbalance and then it causes the cell proliferation and causes stress carcinogenesis. And there the free radicals also, they also, uh, you can say they also combine with that and they enhance the disease at the many stage. So now the question is, what is the solution for this? Problem is there, but there is important is that what should be the solution? The solution is that novel drug discovery, and it should come from everyone, and that is through the preclinical study, because that is the basic part where you can develop the novel drugs and you can analyze them on the humans. So the importance of animals in biomedical research is the present scenario. They are the important part of the studies, and it is throughout the history, scientists have been solving medical problems, developing new techniques and treatments and curing diseases, all by using animals in biomedical research. And most of our children have not heard about, or much less know, anything about many of the diseases experienced firsthand. So they have either been eradicated or can be controlled due to findings from the research using this animal. So because it is a life-saving surgical procedure, cancer therapies, organ transplantation, vaccines, safe consumer products, and treatment and cures for countless other medical disorders and diseases. So organ and body systems similar to humans and other animals has an important and susceptible to the same diseases that affect humans. So short lifespan allows animal to be studied throughout their entire life, and environment easily controllable to keep environmental variables to a minimum. So these are all the plus points which comes through the animal research and drug development which comes over through various types of animals research definitely makes a difference in the study. So there are some of the the importance is that there should be some research institute with the scientists and the research staff, with the veterinarians, and the scientific organization, and then finally the patients were on which after they discover the drug which can be implemented for the furthermore information. So presently, various types of diseases like allergies, arthritis, birth defects, cancer, tuberculosis, many of the plethora of the diseases are very much common. And presently, I've already shown you that how the different types of disease pattern which is coming in the entire Gangetic plains of Bihar as well as the North Bihar, how you can control over through the novel drug discoveries. And in the Unani medicine, there have been plethora of medicines which have been playing a major role, but that needs the scientific validation. And for the scientific validation, animals are the best to carry out the research, and you can pursue the study with all these, any of these symptoms or any of the disease pattern on the animals. So basically, these are basically present in the three principles that reduce, refine, and replace. So that is why it is very important. And especially one of the government of India has made one committee for it that is called as CCSEA. Earlier it was called as CPCSEA. Now it has been converted as Committee for Control and Supervision of Experiments on Animals. So this is the Animal Act which has been recently launched in the new name. Earlier it was present since 1960, and it has the plan that if you are working on the animals, definitely you have to go through this procedure so that the rights of the animals are also maintained, and the studies which are being conducted are perfectly done without damaging the you can say the animal or the killing of the animals. So various models can be planned like toxicological models, diabetic models, osteoporotic models, carcinogenic models, parasitic models, reproductive toxicological models. There are a plethora of models which can be developed from the animals, and you can just try your novel drugs on that, and then you can say that yes, this has the scientific validation. Now you can plan for that study on the humans as well, as per the norms of the uh, ICMR. So usually, it also helps to detect the LD50, LC50, that is lethal dose, and the Noel, that is no observed adverse effect level and no observed adverse effect level. So these are the basic, which can be planned on the animals, which cannot be done on the humans directly. So for the dose titration and all, this is very much efficient that the animals are the best to be carried out. For this, you can just plan for the animal grouping, dose preparation, dose administration, and the toxicity study. And various biochemical studies, histopathological study, molecular study, or the other toxicology study can be done on this. For example, recently there are known cancer drugs for breast cancer, like doxorubicin, your epirubicin, cisplatin, paclitaxel, cyclophosphamide, toxin, tamoxifen. These are all the plethora of the compounds which are present for the cancer treatment. But they are very expensive and they have a lot of side effects as well. So natural drugs, basically, we can say have having selective cytotoxicity, and they have very good antioxidant. They have an autophagy role. They also have anti-angiogenesis, anti-mutagenic, anti-metastatic, apoptotic, and anti-inflammatory. I'm not saying that these are all only on the words, but I can show you that how it are. So known medicinal drugs for breast cancer, basically, they're all in the plethora of the plants like paclitaxel. They have all been isolated from the medicinal plant itself. Then they have not come from the natural plant. I mean, from the chemical plant. So these are all the medicinal plants by which these extracts have been isolated. The interesting have been isolated by the Indian. It was isolated from India itself. This has been used for your living disease. So these are some of the known medicinal drugs for breast cancer, where these roots are commonly used for the treatment part. I think the Unani might be also having some of the medicinal plants which Unani can will be using this for the treatment of cancer. So recently, one of my PhD students carried out one of the study under my supervision, in which you can see the Pherocarpus sanguineus, that is also called as the red sandal. So its seeds were basically used for the treatment. And this happened, when I was exploring Buxar with the arsenic exposed population. Suddenly when I was in one of the household, one of the seed fell on my head. So then I thought that why this cannot be used as something in cancer treatment. And when I found in the literature that none of the study has been reported with the anti-cancerous properties. So we were the first to give this finding in the journal. Then another was Asian marmalade, commonly known as the pale. The pale basically is also having a very important role, and this work was published in the Nature. For the first time, you very well know that Nature publishes the novel work. That is a completely new work which has never been reported around there. So this work was published in that, and its active ingredients we found as marmalocene. So we are trying to just find out this active ingredient out of it, and we will be trying to patent this as well. Because we have done this with only the pulp of that, but we haven't reported the medicinal, the element. So for this, just an instant, I can say that how these models can be made. For instance, we have this dimethyl anthracene, dimethyl benzoanthracene. So this is a known carcinogen which is being used for the making the breast models in the animals. So this is how this breast models basically are being made with the dissolving with the olive oil and giving in a single dose. After 4 months, these tumors are developed, and these plants, after the estimation of LD50, their dose were titrated, and they were being given to the animals. So this is how we do the grouping and how this we administer the medicinal plants on the DMD induced tumor rats. And this was published in one of the journals, in the Stage Group of Journal. And this is how we find out how the scavenging properties of the plant. And you can see with the images also that there was 39% of tumor regression in this. So this was one of the scientific findings which we carried out, and you can see the tumor volume, biochemical parameters also, just to know that whether this medicinal plant is having any side effects or not, apart from the TNF alpha and the other things. So these are the liver biomarker parameters. If you can see that there are very much significant, balancing of the entire parameters. So even the kidney biomarkers also it has similar. Through histopathology also you can see the similar pattern that there has been degradation in the tumor, basically in the cells. So another springer mixer group which we published that is a big marker which I already talked about. There also this challenging activities we found that how gene markers is having impact, and there was about 79% of tumor regression. This was a magnificent study which we carried out. The tumor size with the size which we it was 79% of regression in that, and along with the tumor value there. So this has been scientifically reported, and that is what I say that every study needs scientific validation, and once you get the scientific validation, you just get it patented, and you can be in the name and the fame as well. These are the histopathological cells which we get. There is complete normalization in the tumor cells. Similarly, one of my other students also, they are right now they are currently working on this, like Mahavir and the Chinese, and the Amaranth cibulum seed, that is black cardamom. So they are the seeds basically using, and they have made the same model. And here you can see the tumor. 54% of the tumor is there, and this is the tumor volume. So this is the entire work which we are carrying out, and these are the biochemical parameters. You can see how there has been normalization in them, and this is the histopathology. This is how there has been normalization in the cells. So just to conclude my study, therefore, from the entire study, it can be concluded that there is need for the novel drug development against the various diseases. The drugs should be cheaper and should have least side effects. The discovered drugs can be patented, that is to the intellectual property. It should have the scientific validation, and there should be definitely a scientific development as well. And human future should be a disease free. We also published through the media coverage that how this whale as well as you can say the red sandalwoods have the major role in controlling the breast cancer disease. And recently in 2023, it was published with how arsenic is causing the breast cancer, which we published. So my special acknowledgement to my teacher, Professor Kumar, who is HOD of our research center and was former chairman of the Hospital College in Patna. And my colleagues, Dr. Ali, Dr. Ranjit, and Dr. Arun, and all my PhD students. So, as far as said by former President APJ Abdul Kalam, dreams is not what you see in sleep, is the thing which doesn't let you sleep. That is a very famous quote, and you should remember this, that should trigger in your mind that how the research which you are trying to plan should be validated and should be for the human benefit, and that is how you can just say that health is wealth, and if health is of the nation is good, definitely the wealth of the nation will be also good. Thank you very much. Any questions, please?
Sir, good afternoon, sir. Sir, what are the measures government is taking to tackle arsenocosis?
See, basically, if you will ask me honestly, I will just say that the Har Ghar Nal Jal Yojana, which is working all over the state, although it is reaching all over the household, but the problem is that nobody is, monitoring the quality of the water which the people are getting, which is very, very essential. And that is the missing part which is coming from the government. That is why in any platform I say that monitoring and the surveillance is a very important part. If you do anything, monitoring is very important for that. Similarly, when you do for the patients also, if you give a new drug, definitely you monitor for a longer period just to say that he's safe or not. So that is the lacking part. And second most, the health evaluation is not being conducted in this state. That is the first part. So that is why, although the drinking water is coming, but what about the food part, which is also containing the similar? Because I have not shown that part. That is also a black mystery which will give you a very dark picture that how this arsenic is not only going through into the humans through the water, but also through the food chain. So that is the rice, the pulses, the wheat, and the vegetables. They are all containing very high arsenic concentration. So again, at some of the places where the water is at the normal level, we have found that this is coming from the food chain.
So, since you work for 14 years, have you noticed any gradual increase or decrease in the cases in a particular area?
See, some of the places I have seen that there has tremendous increase in the disease burden. And some of the places where it was solely that water responsible for arsenic poisoning, I have seen that the disease burden has come down at many of the places. Like Buxar, I have seen in Samastipur, I have seen two districts I have personally visited, and I have seen that there has been drastic decrease in the disease burden in the exposed population.
Thank you.
So, how to get arsenic-free water for drinking purpose and irrigation purpose or heavy metal-free water? And what would you suggest to the general public in this scenario?
Very good question. We very well know that the arsenic is present only in the groundwater. It is not present in the surface water. It is not present in your rainwater. So if one is tapping the surface water, it is the best to be, to drink or to irrigate anything. It is the best mode. Now the government scheme, which is coming not only to the, you can say the Rajgir and the Gaya part, where the Ganges water is reaching over there through various, blocking the water and making the dams, rubber dams and all. So if it is reaching over there, in the non-arsenic zone, it is fine, but it should be for the arsenic zone as well. Like for the Bhojpur, I can say the Mojampur plant is working. We have 3 lakh population in 2002, which were reported from the Bihar. Afterwards, when there was, this arsenic filters for arsenic mitigation units working, then there was complete, change in the entire district. I haven't seen so much of the, the symptoms in the Bhojpur district where these 49 villages are getting arsenic-free water. So that is the good part, that using the surface water is the best way you can just remediate through the arsenic water. I can't clear this.
At home, what are the remedies to avoid arsenic-free water?
Please repeat again.
How to get arsenic-free water for drinking purpose at home?
At home. See, basically, there are many of the filters which are working. There are the homemade filters which are available in many of the arsenic exposed area, where the local vendors are selling that one. So that is also one of the part by which these people can buy. It is very much affordable, maybe 2,000 rupees or 3,000 rupees of one of the units, filter units, that is home filters, that can be used personally for drinking purpose. So that is what these schemes are working. And moreover, there are many of the Harghar Nal Jal Yojana which is working over there. They have the the arsenic filter units in that. So one of the chamber is of the arsenic filter, which is removing the arsenic and that is giving you arsenic free water.
Thank you, sir. What are the long-term consequences of arsenic poisoning?
What are the
Long-term consequences of arsenic poisoning.
See, the long-term arsenic exposure, I have already shown that that is giving lot of the diseases, not only the cancer. Because what I have seen that arsenic poisoning is making the immunity so low that the person is getting the disease. And that disease, if it remains in the body for years, that only causes the cancer. So it is not only your, we can say the cardiovascular disease, the neurological disorders, the hormonal disorders, the skin manifestations, the the lung related diseases, all the plethora of the diseases which are coming. This is coming through this aspect because it is lowering down your immunity, and then it is. I have also seen that in population with the upper strata part, like the upper caste of the people, they don't have such of the problems or the symptoms, but the lower category of the population, they are having more symptoms because they don't have good food to eat, they don't have good fruits to eat because these contain a lot of antioxidants. That is, the countering the poisoning. So a good protein, a good food, a good balanced diet food is very, very essential in this part, and which is missing in this many of the areas I have seen personally. Because I have roamed all the 38 districts of the state, and I have seen that, especially in the North Bihar, the problem is much more grim than the other parts of the state.
Okay, thank you, sir. How to know the composition of water, underground water in a particular area?
See, it is basically the your state units, like you can say the state health units, and especially the water monitoring units are there in every district. That is where in PHD, that is the Public Health Engineering Department, where you can take your water and just they are taking, I think, 20 or 30 rupees a charge for analyzing. You can just give the bottle to them and they will analyze it and then they will give you the result. So this is how you can know that how safe you are with the water. That can be done. Otherwise, in Mahavir Cancer Sanathan also, you can bring their water, you can analyze. There is no issue at all.
What is the cost of
Basically, for the it is 500 rupees per test we carry out, so we can do that one. There is no issue at all.
Okay, sir.
Question from girl side. ऐसा तो नहीं है, it is still in the market, but it has some side effects as well. You very well know that mercury is causing many of the other diseases, but वो तो mildly used होता है. It is not that it is very commonly or every day it is used. Sometimes it is used. When one is in fever, then only it is used. But it can be used in either, not only in the mouth, it can be used on the side as well. It is the best to use that one, not by putting in the mouth. Can you just signomanometer? So now up to electronic आ गया सारा चीज. So that is complete. It is you can just update better. I can't tell about that part. That is the medical device which you people are using. You better know that which is the best one.
तो घर में जो वाटर प्यूरिफायर लगाते हैं क्या पुलिस वाले जो
No, not at all. Not at all. क्योंकि जो membrane filters उसके बनकर आते हैं, that is completely different, which is eliminating the arsenic from it. तो जो membrane filter जो specifically बनकर आते हैं या नैनो उसमें आपको मटेरियल यूज होता है, वो आर्सेनिक को उसमें से निकालते हैं. बट दी नॉर्मल आप कैंट का या आप दूसरे भी आपको जो फिल्टर्स यूज होते हैं, वो आर्सेनिक की मंचिंग नहीं कर सकते. वो आर्सेनिक को उसमें से ब्लीच करके नहीं निकाल पाते. वो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक वाला जो होता है, नहीं कोई भी नहीं ना. आपको उसके लिए मेम्ब्रेन फिल्टर होता है which is being installed in जो भी आपको गवर्नमेंट जो लगाती है बड़े बड़े उसके जो कहते हैं उसमें फिल्टर्स आते हैं, उसमें वो स्पेसिफिकली आर्सेनिक को रिमूव करने वाले उसमें मीडिया डाला जाता है. तो वो स्पेसिफिकली काम करता है. अदरवाइज जो घर में हाउस होल्ड आपके जो फिल्टर्स होते हैं वो आर्सेनिक को फिल्टर नहीं करते. Okay. Thank you very much for your